Resident Evil 9 is reportedly getting a massive DLC, and honestly, the future of this game is looking incredibly promising. After the director officially announced post-launch DLC plans for Resident Evil 9, the internet exploded with rumors and speculation, and one name keeps coming up again and again: Wong. Now, according to well-known insider Dusk Golem, the DLC is already in its late stages of development. That alone is exciting, but it gets even more interesting. There are multiple rumors suggesting that this DLC will focus heavily on Leon Kennedy. And if you know anything about Resident Evil, you already see where this is going. Where Leon goes, Ada isn't usually far behind. A lot of fans are now convinced that Wong will play a role in this DLC. Maybe not as the main character, but definitely as an important presence in the story. Things got even more interesting when Jolene Anderson, the voice actor for Wong in the Resident Evil 2 remake, teased that she was working on something mysterious. Naturally, fans jumped to conclusions. People immediately assumed this had to be related to Ada and Resident Evil 9. Speculation spread fast, and hype started building, but here's the twist. Reports suggest that her involvement might only be a small cameo, not a major role. So what's the reality here? Will Wong be in the DLC? Most likely, yes. If the DLC truly centers around Leon Kennedy, then it's hard to imagine a storyline without Ada appearing in some way. Even if it's brief, her presence would make perfect sense. At the end of the day, nothing is officially confirmed yet. But with development already advanced and rumors stacking up, this DLC could end up being something really special. We also have the introduction of Zeno, who is rumored to be a clone of Albert Wesker. And if that turns out to be true, it could have huge implications for the future of the franchise. Albert Wesker has always been one of the most iconic villains in Resident Evil history, so the idea of a clone or successor carrying on his legacy could open the door for a much larger storyline. This is why many fans believe the first DLC would focus heavily on Leon and Chris working together, possibly investigating this new Wesker-related threat. But things might not stop there, because the rumors suggest that a second DLC could also be in development, and this second expansion might be even more important. According to speculation, the second DLC could focus directly on Albert Wesker, or at least the legacy surrounding him. Instead of just being a side story, this DLC might actually start setting up the events for Resident Evil 10. If that's the case, it could act as a bridge between the two games, similar to how some previous Resident Evil expansions expanded the larger narrative. And if Resident Evil 10 truly focuses on the Wesker storyline, there's a very good chance that Chris Redfield could become the main protagonist again. Because when it comes to Wesker, Chris has always been the character most connected to that conflict. Leon, on the other hand, might not want to continue dealing with these global terror threats forever. After everything he's been through over the years, it wouldn't be surprising if Capcom eventually gave him a smaller role moving forward. So this information comes from a report by Eurogamer, who actually reached out directly to Capcom for clarification about that final scene in Resident Evil 9. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The moment with Leon that left everyone confused. And the response came straight from the game's director, Koshi Nakanishi. Now, he didn't fully confirm everything, but what he said is very interesting. Here's the exact quote. The answer will become clear someday, but not just yet. What we wanted to convey in the final scene is simple. Leon now has a place to go home to, and we hope you can imagine the peaceful moments he spends there. Now that right there changes everything, because instead of confirming a specific person, Nakanishi is clearly framing this as something more symbolic. According to him, Leon is someone who rarely expresses his true feelings. He's always risking his life, always in danger, always putting others before himself. So this ring that we see, it might not just be about marriage. It could represent commitment, peace, or even a promise. Something deeply personal that Leon keeps hidden from the world. But let's be real for a second, Capcom is definitely holding back on purpose. They don't want to reveal everything just yet. And that's where things get even more interesting. Because if you've been following my channel, you already know I've talked about this before, especially in my DLC discussion videos. According to insider Dusk Golem, the upcoming Resident Evil 9 DLC is expected to be heavily focused on Leon S. Kennedy. And if that turns out to be true, then this mystery, yeah, that's probably going to be the main storyline. Think about it. This could finally show us what happened to Leon after Resident Evil 6, because that's one of the biggest gaps in the entire franchise. In Resident Evil 6, we see Leon dealing with massive global threats, but after that, things go quiet. And something else that's really interesting, that's actually one of the only times where Leon and Wong are not really together in the usual way. Because let's be honest, throughout the series, Leon and Ada have always been connected. From Resident Evil 2 all the way forward, their relationship has been one of the most iconic and complicated dynamics in the entire franchise. So if Leon is now possibly married, then the question becomes even bigger. Now here's where things get even more interesting. When Nakanishi first revealed that Capcom is working on the Resident Evil 9 DLC, fans noticed something in the background that most people almost missed. There were several photographs being held or displayed, and one of them appeared to show Leon standing next to a woman in a wedding dress. Yeah, you heard that right, a wedding photo. Now, It's not officially confirmed who that woman is, but the implication is pretty clear. It looks like Leon might actually be married. And if that's true, then Capcom is setting up something huge, because revealing Leon's personal life like this is something they've never really done before. He's always been the lone hero, the guy who keeps moving forward, never settling down. But now, it looks like he finally has something or someone to come back to. So here's what I think is going to happen. The Resident Evil 9 DLC will dive deeper into Leon's life after all the chaos. We might finally see his personal struggles, his relationship status, and maybe even the truth about that ring. And if Capcom really wants to surprise us, they could reveal who he married in a big emotional moment. But now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Do you think Leon is actually married? And if he is it Ada Wong or someone completely new? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want more Resident Evil updates, leaks, and breakdowns, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.